Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the 2025 Business Lecture Series provided by the Central Asian Productivity Research Center and the Business and Professional Institute. My name is Chris Wager, and I would like to introduce the presenter for today's presentation. Professor Greg Boyan. Greg is the man who has walked the talk. Greg has been a longtime businessman, educator, and entrepreneur who has spent his time making things happen. Today, Greg will share his many years of experience and the knowledge gathered during his journey down life's highway. I give you Greg Boyan.
All right. Hello, everybody. Good morning, good day. I hope you're okay. And today we're going to talk a little bit about marketing. I mean, we can only do so much in an hour 15 minutes, or whatever it'll take today, but I want to give you a basic idea, little background of what marketing is all about, and some definitions of it, things like that. So I'm going to bring up a little PowerPoint here, and we'll do some discussions and go from there. Get this going. All right. Okay. All right. There we go. Okay. So, what is marketing? I'll move this around. So, marketing is defined by the American Marketing Association. There's an actual group that does all that. It's the activity, set of institutions and processes, for creating, communicating, delivering, and exchanging offerings that have value for who? Customers, clients, partners, and society at large. So the traditional way of marketing is the what we call the 4 Ps of marketing. Product. What is that? That's your goods or your services. We call those creating offerings. Promotion. Communicating. How do we promote our products? Place. Getting the product from one point to another. So where customers can purchase it, we can deliver it, and we can use it. And the final part, of course, the most important part is price. The monetary amount charged for the product or exchanging. So these are the basic 4 Ps of marketing, the traditional ones. This was introduced actually in the early 1950s. These 4 Ps were called the marketing mix. Part of a marketing plan is a mix of these 4 components. But today, traditionally, if you read closely, you see there are 4 activities or components that are used more frequently today. So today we actually call them other things other than the 4 Ps. We're creating, we're doing more of a verb type thing. Process of working with suppliers and creating offerings. We call those offerings that have some kind of value. Communicating. Describe these offerings. Learning from the customers. We'll talk a little bit about communicating. Delivering. Getting those offerings to the consumer. And exchanging, trading value of some sort, money or other ways. So what is this value? It's at the center of everything that marketing does. What does value mean? It means that with term value, the benefits a buyer receives that meet their needs. Excuse me, my sinuses this morning. In other words, what is value? What does a customer get by purchasing something and consuming a company's offerings? What is it to them? What does it mean to me? So all this offering is created by a company. The value is determined by the customer. It can be many different things. Our goal as marketers is to create a profitable exchange for consumers. So value varies from customer to customer, of course, based on the needs. So we talk about needs. We're selling something. We have to create something. We have to figure out, what is that need? What can I do? What can I make for that? So this marketing concept is a philosophy that marketers do, requires marketers to seek to satisfy companies' wants and needs. That's what it's all about. Firms operating with this philosophy are said to be market-oriented, solving somebody's needs, providing a need. Market-oriented firms recognize exchange must be profitable for the company. So we make something, we service something, we have to make some money at it, we have to be profitable, otherwise we won't be around. We create goods, those are physical things, and services that the company offers for a price. What are goods? Well, we know what goods are. Those are physical things. What are services? Well, it can be like the barber shop or laundry or other things, insurance, whatever. Those are services. This is entire bundle is of a tangible good or intangible service, and the price is called the offering. So there's what you have there. In the middle, we have the value. We create something. We communicate that value with that product or service. We deliver it somehow. And for that exchange, we get some money or some other things for it. So, what are the needs of the customer? Identifying that customers using market research to gather data regarding what the customer wants and what their needs are. Try to anticipate the needs. We collect data. We do research. Marketers can modify their products by making these changes and updates. We want to satisfy a customer's needs. We identify it, try to anticipate it, we try to satisfy it. If the needs are met, it increases the chances that we become greater repeat customers. And the profitability requires adding value to a product. Customer pays the price. It's greater than the cost of making the product. Of course, that's how we make our money. Excuse me. So, what are some of the steps in this marketing process? Step one, move the screen around. Who the customer is and what they want. How the company is going to move the customer to purchase the product. This value proposition, as they call it. We communicate what's called the benefits. What are we going to believe and receive? Benefits divided by price. That's the value. Kind of a concept more than an actual formula. Functional, monetary part, maybe social, psychological types. How to reach consumers. How do we reach them? How do we compel them to purchase and repurchase? Finally, increasing customer loyalty to result in higher customer equity, the potential profits that you can earn from that. So these are the 5 steps. Understanding the marketplace. Develop a customer-driven marketing strategy. Deliver some kind of value. Grow profitable customer relations. Capture value from the customer. Let's look at that environment. We have internal environment, which is what's called controllable. We can do things that we can control. We have the thing called the 5M framework. The minds, the staffing, our internal environment, the minutes, the time it takes to make and figure out things, machinery, equipment to manufacture and make the product, materials, the part of that production, and the money, the finances. That's part of the internal environment. Also, we have our organizational culture. A strong culture retains employees, gives customers an idea of the values of the company, which can drive them to support the company. Those are the internal parts. They have an external part. Those are what we call uncontrollable, things that we don't have control over. We have a thing called a macro environment, the large environment. What is that? That's all the consumers. Our competition. Yeah, there's competition most of the time. There's other people selling the product or the services. Then we have the micro environment, the small environment. Some of that can be political. What is political? That can be regulations, economic environment. Sometimes that can be a macro environment too. Social. Social. Are we doing the right thing? And of course, technology. Using technology the best we can. And there's also the legal ramifications, the laws, the regulations, that sort of thing, the government regulations, and the environment. We're going to be good to our environment, making our products. So look at this microenvironment a little bit closer. What do we have? This is the components of the microenvironment. We have suppliers, we have the market intermediaries, we have customers, the general public, and of course we have our competitors. That macro environment, quite a bit involved actually. There's what's called the pestle factors. It's another marketing term that we use. So we have these 6 different areas. The political factors. What is that? New taxes, maybe government fiscal policy, trade tariffs. We're seeing that these days. Political factors. Economic factors, inflation, interest rates. If you're selling overseas, you look at foreign exchange rates. Is a dollar stronger or weaker against another economy? Maybe it makes us better or worse to sell our products overseas. And then, of course, economic growth patterns. What are some of the social factors? Demographics. What is that? Demographics is a lot of things. It's can be race, it can be age, it can be income, all kinds of demographics. Figuring out what group we're going to sell to. Cultural trends, and the population analytics. With the population trends. And then, of course, our technology factors. Was the innovations in technology. We see a lot of that these days in selling products. We'll get into that in a little bit later. Automation. Automation helps us manufacturing our products better and maybe save money. And then another part is research and development. We have to do that to figure out how to make our product, or we can make a product better, or we can improve on a product. And be aware of all this. And then, of course, the legal factors, consumer laws, labor laws, safety standards. Safety standards involve maybe the product itself. Is it safe to make? And also safety standards in our own production. The environmental, of course, the climate, the geographical location, and stakeholder and consumer value. Stakeholders, those are people that invest in our product. So let's look at some of these things called the concepts. The production concept. Companies focus on high production, low cost, and high distribution is one way to look at it. We make a lot of it, hopefully at a low cost, and distribute it all over the place. Customers focus on product availability and a low price. We look at a lot of consumables, soaps and aspirins and things like that, product availability and a low price. Then there's the product concept. What's the product concept? Companies focus on superior products with improvements over time. Look at the Apple iPhone, superior product. Then offer quality, maybe innovative features and performance. Then there's the sales concept that we have to look at too. How are we selling the product? What are we doing with it? We focus on selling what we have. There's different ways of doing that. There's a lot of ways different to do that. We won't get into all those details this morning, but those are things we do. We have to help people buy our products, coax them into it. So the marketing concept that we have, companies focus on needs. Remember, we talked about needs before developing the products and building relationships with consumers. Consumers focus on having their needs met. We talked about that already. What are their needs? Meet their needs. The social marketing concept. We look at the needs of the consumer, the needs of the company, and the growing concern over the needs of society. We look at future concerns and the environment. Those are things that we may have to look at. Consumers focus on buying products based on this impact. Excuse me this morning. So we look at these needs and wants. We have different categories, and to help the marketer salesperson to narrow these down, these parameters, to successfully fulfill these needs. Stated needs. Those are specified by the customer. This is what I'm looking for. This is what I want to do. I want a better phone. I want a better this or a better that. I want a better washer. I want a better dryer. I want a better TV, you know. Real needs. Those are above those stated needs and specific details. And of course, there's underlying unstated needs. The customer expects it, but they don't ask for it. Somehow we have to try to anticipate that. We delight needs. That's the wow factor, above and beyond the normal needs. Secret needs. Customer may not state or realize. Can be important reasons for choosing a particular product. Why do they want to choose that product? You know, maybe they don't realize it. Oh, okay. Then we look at the marketing channels. We have, how do we sell the product? How do we distribute the product? How are we going to do that? We have the business to consumer market is one of them, the B2C. So there's different ways that the product can be distributed or offered. Here's the consumer down here. How am I going to get it? Maybe directly from the producer. Or most of the times, sometimes the producer goes directly to a retailer and then the consumer buys it from the retailer. In most cases, we have other ways, the wholesaler, distributor, or a combination. The producer makes the product, gives it to a wholesaler. They, in turn, provide the product to a whole group of different people, to different retailers, then to the consumer. Then we have the distributor again. A wholesaler is a large group of companies that all over the place. A distributor is a small function of that, or it can be a combination. Sometimes you'll have an agent or a broker. Excuse me. Nowadays, we have this retailer here. A lot of times this goes away and goes online. Sometimes a wholesaler. Who's a wholesaler? Amazon is a wholesaler, basically, or a distributor. And instead of a retailer, we buy directly online from them. So that's the business to consumer market. We also have what's called the B2B, business to business. In reality, that's a large part of the business, the business to business. One company makes a product that sells to another company. We have raw materials. Those raw materials, like iron ore and coke and coal, what does that do? That makes steel. The steel is made, maybe you roll it into sheets of steel that is sold to an automotive manufacturer or an appliance manufacturer. So we have all those different areas. So a producer can be sold to the business or government. We have agents and brokers. Maybe we use them to sell to the business or government. And also have what's called an industrial distributor. Now we have industrial distributors. Most people are familiar in the United States here with Grainger. They're one of the largest industrial distributors in the country. They have thousands and thousands of different products. They're all kinds of different things a company or business needs to make a product or work with a product, you know, things from cleaning products or nuts and bolts and tools and whatnot. Again, you have your agent and your broker. So those are the different ways that we distribute these products and marketing channels. Ethical marketing. We also have to be ethical with what we're doing. Very important. What are some of the principles of ethical marketing? What should be true with what we're doing? Privacy to the end users is the most important. Keeping confidential some information that we may have from the end user, the customer. We call that the end user. We must adhere to different norms and standards and rules set forth by the government and other lawmaking authorities. Being fair. We must be transparent what we're trying to convey and whom we're approaching to convey it. What's the importance of this? Consider our reputation. 50% of customers will not buy from companies they think are unethical. Actually, sometimes it's even larger than that. The do's of ethical marketing. Ensure transparency. Protect data security. Our own data, the data that we collect from maybe the customer. Prioritize the concerns of the consumer. Don'ts of ethical marketing. Don't overemphasize or exaggerate. What you're going to do there, you're going to lose the trust of the of the customer. They'll finally find out. Don't make false claims. Again, that's just going to belittle the trust. People say, oh, those false claims, I'm not going to buy from them anymore. All these things they were claiming they can do, they can't. Don't make false comparisons of other things, maybe to the competition. They'll find it out soon enough. Another part of marketing is strategic planning. We have to plan on how to do things. We have to figure out things. How are we going to make our product? How are we going to sell it? It's important parts. We call that, we put a strategic plan together of a company. What are some of those strategies of a company? The actions, the plans, the objectives, the goals that outline how this business is going to compete in chosen markets, given its portfolio of products and services. We have a corporate level strategy that covers the entire business. It can be a complex organization, large companies. Maybe you're not a small company. Maybe there's multiple divisions, operating units, sometimes called strategic business units. One example, of course, is Rockwell. They have the government military group. They have communications, telecommunications. When we look at GE, General Electric, they make jet engines, they make appliances, they make other things. So they have the strategic business units. Each SBU usually comes up with their own strategic plan, what they want to do. We have this business level strategy for a single business or operating unit. If you're a small business, that's just all of you right there. Functions, corporate and business level. Lots of things involved with that. Human resources, marketing, production. So let's look at that process. Sorry. Early this morning, my sinuses bothering. Step one, we create a vision statement. Where do we see the business going? What is the company trying to create? What is our vision? One of Coca-Cola's visions is to make people feel comfortable and enjoy refreshments. A mission statement. Why does the business exist? What does it does? Who it serves? What sets it apart from the competition? That's kind of an internal thing. A vision is the overall. It doesn't really say a specific product. What is our vision as a company? Mission statement is more of an internal thing. Who it serves, what sets us apart. We perform what's called a gap analysis. Do an internal audit, answering the following questions. Where are we now? Where would we like to be? What's stopping us from getting there? Those are things that we have to look at. Step 4, establish objectives and goals. The key actions that allow the company to implement a strategy. And of course, then we monitor the progress. Continuous monitoring and revising when necessary to keep on track to meet these goals and objectives. So, goals and objectives. Basically, we call the SMART goals. You may have heard of that, maybe you haven't. Those are the basics, 5 basics of a goal. Being specific. Our goal needs to be clear and understandable. Measurable, quantifiable, easy to track. We measure the steps as we go along of this goal. Is it attainable? Is it reachable? Maybe with some stretch. A goal must be attainable, otherwise it's not going to work. Is it realistic? Is it substantial, but is it obtainable? And time bound. We have to have an end date. Create some urgency. Those are the basics of a SMART goal. We can set one goal, we can set several goals. Usually, sometimes we subdivide it into different groups. Remember, it's got to be clear. You're sending this out to your whole group, to the company, to everybody internally, that what you want to do. Be able to, in various steps, to measure the steps of how we're progressing with it. And of course, can we do it? And is it really real easy? And how long is it going to take? So that's all part of it. What's the role of marketing in all of this? What are some of the critical functions? First, marketing philosophy is important to represent throughout the strategic planning process. The marketing team helps with the strategy, maintain that philosophy. Examine the current situation. Marketers gather and analyze information. The marketing department analyzes data along with the team. The first step in a gap was called a gap analysis. Third, marketers are responsible for identifying and assessing trends and impact of trends in the marketing environment. So marketers are very important within the company, especially with the strategic planning process. They're the ones responsible for collecting data, doing some of the research on what's going on out in the real world. What's the situation? We analyze information. Maybe we have third parties to gather information. Or we look at one of the interesting ones is the government, census.gov. We do those census every 10 years. The Census Department has a vast array of information on all kinds of different things. Trends in the market, demographics, especially in demographics, different regional areas. A lot of data we can grab. Then we have part of that plan. What's the promotional mix? Those are the strategies aimed at reaching the target market. What does it do? It allows us to reach customers in different ways. What does that include? We haven't talked much about that, but we include advertising, personal selling, maybe sales promotions, direct marketing. And of course, a lot of times now, internet, digital marketing. Part of that is public relations, multi-channel approach to our target market. Where are we going to sell it? Who are we going to sell it to? We have to determine a target market. So here's part of that promotional mix. We have advertising. How are we going to let people know what we're doing? Advertising used to be a lot with newspapers and radio and TV. Well, radio and TV is still a lot. Some of it is still newspapers. A lot of that's online nowadays. Maybe some of it's personal selling, especially in the B2B marketplace. Personal selling is very important. Calling on customers. Not so much in the business to consumer market. Personal selling can be those like the Mary Kay and some of those other things, Tupperware, those kind of a personal selling groups. Sales promotions. What are we going to do to help with the sales? Maybe we offer in the business to consumer market, we offer coupons, we offer special discounts. In the B2B market, maybe we give volume discounts and we give special rebates, things like that. Manufacturers will give rebates to grocery stores as we get some of those coupons to be able to help promote the product. Direct marketing, that's direct to the consumer. And of course, nowadays, there's a lot of internet and digital marketing, social media, Instagram, Facebook, other ways of doing it. So what are some of these elements as we've talked about? We talked about the advertising. Paid non-personal communication is what that advertising is all about. Again, we talked about the personal selling. Some of it's one-to-one communications between the buyer and the seller. That's the most expensive thing. But in the B2B market, it's very important. You know, personal selling, in the old days of door-to-door selling, you're not going to do that so much anymore, but personal selling is mostly in the business-to-business market. Sales promotions, again, helps with immediate results. Some of the ones that I mentioned, buy one, get one free, coupons, enter to win, rebates. Rebates is an interesting one. Here's a rebate coupon. Manufacturers like rebates because the majority of the time people forget to fill out the form and send it in and get their money. Interesting concept. If you're in the Midwest and some of the South, there's a large chain of stores called Menards. They compete with Home Depot and Lowe's. And Menards has these 11% rebates. They don't give you checks per se. They give you a rebate check for 11% off. That's good for future purchases. These rebates are supposed to be sent in at a certain time. Otherwise, it's no good. Same with all kinds of other rebates. Menards has been pretty lax about that since the pandemic. And if you're a little bit late, they'll still send you a so-called Menards check. Direct marketing. By mail, by phone, by text messaging. We call email marketing. We see a lot of that. You see a lot of direct marketing, like if you're on Facebook, you see ads on Facebook, you see ads in different internet sites that you go to. Public relations, kind of a non-personal form of communications. Things like press releases, other information. Internet, digital, a lot of times it's a two-way interaction with the consumer. We specifically target it. We want immediate interaction. It's another important part that I don't talk about too much in this lecture today is targeting. Who are we going to sell the product to? That's part of the strategic plan. Where is it going to be sold? How is it going to be sold? Target markets. Do we want to do a national thing? Do we want to do a regional thing? A good example of that targeting is McDonald's. They may come up with a new product, a new meal or whatever, and they'll go to a couple of different regions. Maybe let's say the Chicago market or the St. Louis market. And they'll try it out there to see how it works. And if it sells real well, they'll go nationally or even internationally. So targeting the market. So what are some of the traditional direct marketing? We have direct mail, things you get in the mail. They don't see as much of that anymore, but you do see that every once in a while. Catalogs. Catalogs are going away, or they're getting a lot smaller now. My wife is one of buying a lot of stuff on mail order. She gets it in catalogs. Telemarketing. Those are those phone calls that you get. DRTV, direct TV, seminars, or in the business-to-business marketplace, what's very important is trade shows. You go to trade shows. What is a trade show? That's where a group of, oops, sorry. It's where a group of people get together and display their products. Trade shows are very important in the business marketplace to show your new products and what's going on. Also, it's a good chance for people to look at what the competition's doing. Sad part about sales and trade shows is you get these leads from a trade show, and the marketing department goes, "These are hot leads. This customer's interested." And a lot of times the sales group forgets to follow up on them. Very important that you do stuff like that. Those are your what's called your hottest leads. So we have the online direct tools, content marketing, online video marketing, email, the social media we talk about, and of course your own website. Got to make it user friendly. Some people don't realize that some of their websites aren't very user friendly. Blogs and online forums, that comes up a lot too. So we talk about the marketing mix, the 4 Ps. I'm going to go into now some videos. Hopefully these come out all right. This is an interesting one. This was a UK firm, United Kingdom, England, put together a little video on the marketing mix of the 4 Ps. This is an example of how McDonald's does it. Let's watch this. Hopefully I can get this going. All right. Seems like we're not working too well with this today. Well, let's see if I can get this going. I'm going to try this way. Sorry, folks. Well, maybe after I do the presentation, we'll try this. So you can copy and paste this on your own after you watch this. Psychology of pricing is another one. How products are priced. And the marketing plan. Finally, the other important part of that is your marketing plan. How is that going to work? So let me try this. Okay, there we go. So I'm going to go back. I don't know if this is going to work or not. Let's see here. Trying to see if I can get this to work here.
marketing mix is an analytical model used by businesses to attract customers. It is made up of 4 elements, which are referred to as P's, simply because they all start with the letter P.
I'll share that
Product,
screen.
price,
What's that, Chris?
and promotion.
Share that screen.
Be aware that the most effective...
Sorry. Okay. I have to share this. There we go.
Same way we shared the
Yep.
PowerPoint.
Okay, sorry, folks. Okay. Forgive me for. There we go. Everybody can see it now?
Yes.
All right. Thank you, Chris. Oops. I did a boo-boo there. Let me back up on that. Let me try that again. There we go. Now, everybody see that? Can you see that, Chris?
Not yet.
All right. Bear with me, folks. I don't do this too often, so I have to get back into my Zoom mode here. Okay. Where is it? Oh. I've got time here, so. There we go. Share. Sorry about that, folks. Had the wrong. Okay. Now I hope everybody can see it.
Start it on the lower left-hand corner.
Yeah. I lost my mouse. There we go. Share. There we go. Okay. Back to the video.
Businesses constantly adapt their marketing mix to the changes which happen within their environment. In this video, we will look at each P individually and apply the marketing mix to McDonald's to see how they effectively use the 4 Ps to attract customers. So, starting with first P, which is product. The product element of the marketing mix is focused on the products or services that a business sells. Products are classified as tangible items as they come in a physical form and can be touched by the consumer. For example, smartphones, clothing, and trainers are all classed as tangible products, whereas services are classed as intangible, as they cannot be touched by the consumer. Examples of services include beauty treatments, car valeting, and pet sitting. When developing a product to sell to the public, it's crucially important that the business conducts market research to identify the wants and needs of the consumers within its target market. Following this, where possible, a business should seek to differentiate its products and services to stand out from the competition and increase the chances of customers shopping with them. This is where the USP comes into play, as the business aims to make the product or service different to what is already available elsewhere in the market. Traditionally, McDonald's offered fast food which were perceived by the public as predominantly unhealthy but tasty, with the core products within its portfolio including burgers, chips and milkshakes. However, over the years, McDonald's has diversified its product portfolio and adapted to changing consumer tastes. For example, McDonald's has introduced a wide range of diverse products, such as its McCafe range, a breakfast menu, salads, as well as vegetarian and vegan meal options. This has helped McDonald's to attract a wider audience, as they are effectively able to meet the wants and needs of more consumers, which in turn has helped them to increase their sales revenue. We now move on to the second P, which is price. Price is focused on the selling price set by the business for its products and services. It's a very important element of the marketing mix and one that truly impacts buyer behaviour. Before setting a selling price, it's important that the business understands how much the customers within their target market are willing and able to pay. But there are several factors which influence this. These include the availability of the product or service. For example, if a product is in short supply, this typically drives up the price a business can charge. Competition in the market also impacts price. For example, if a business has many competitors who offer similar products or services, it is likely that it will reduce its prices to compete and attract customers within the crowded marketplace. In addition, the brand images are very influential factors, as most customers have a preconceived opinion about the business and its products, which influence its worth to them. A business with a very strong brand image is typically able to charge more for their products and services, as customers find the brand desirable and trustworthy. Once a business has considered these factors and knows how much the customers within their target market are willing and able to pay for its products and services, it's then able to utilise a range of pricing strategies to influence buyer behaviour. The price of McDonald's products could be considered as very competitive, with many people visiting McDonald's stores not only because of factors such as convenience and speed, but because the products are also very affordable. They even offer customers a saver menu, which features fan favourites such as the famous cheeseburger, fries, and McFlurries for just 99p. In recent years, McDonald's have introduced a signature range, which is focused on what they deem to be a more premium upmarket product with a higher selling price, with the aim of attracting customers who are willing to pay more for a better quality product that still comes with the convenience and familiarity of McDonald's. The third P of the marketing mix is place. Place is focused on a location where customers can purchase the products or services which the business offers. Common examples of place include retail stores which customers can physically visit, online, such as a website or mobile application which customers can access via the internet, or purchases made directly from the manufacturer. In today's business world, it's very important to provide customers with the opportunity to purchase products and services in a variety of places which are convenient to them, such as having both physical retail stores and a website. As of 2020, McDonald's had over 39,000 restaurants around the world, meaning customers are never too far away from a McDonald's or seeing those famous golden arches in the distance. Traditionally, McDonald's could only be purchased in store at the restaurants or by utilising their drive-thru. But this has all changed in recent years, as McDonald's have introduced a variety of new ways for customers to purchase their products, which include a mobile application known as My McDonald's, which allows customers to order online, and a delivery service which is known as McDelivery, that allows customers to have food delivered directly to them through third-party delivery services such as Uber Eats and Just Eat. The fourth and final P is promotion. Promotion is focused on the activities undertaken by a business to generate interest and make customers aware of the products and services which they sell. Businesses often use a wide variety of promotional activities with the aim of ultimately increasing sales. Common methods of promotion include discounts and special offers, social media activity, influencers, sponsorship, and advertising across a range of multimedia such as TV, radio, billboards, online video, and website banners. McDonald's uses a mixture of promotional activities to bring attention to their brand and increase sales, but advertising is one of their most effective promotional techniques and something McDonald's takes very seriously, having spent over $600 million in 2020 alone to carry out campaigns across TV, newspaper, radio, and billboards, just to name a few. McDonald's also uses sales promotion as a short-term incentive, which is designed to encourage people to buy more of their fast food products. For example, the Monopoly promotion, where customers receive stickers with their meal, giving them the chance to win free food, discounts at certain retailers, or even cash prizes for a limited time, has successfully increased sales at McDonald's as people buy more often and buy larger meals to increase their chances of winning. McDonald's also utilise direct marketing through email and app notifications by targeting their customers with special offers and seasonal menu items designed to encourage them to make an order online or in store. Now that we've looked at each of the 4 Ps with some examples of how McDonald's utilises them, it's important to be aware that the 4 Ps shouldn't be used in isolation. And for the marketing mix to be truly effective in attracting customers and increasing spending, it's crucial that each element of the marketing mix complements the others. Hopefully that's provided you with a better understanding of this analytical marketing model and how
Okay, so that is one idea, a nice summary of what we're talking about here in marketing. That's for sure. Okay, so let's I had another one there. This is the psychology of pricing. So yeah, we got to price our product. How are we going to do that? This is an interesting video about how pricing is put together and what can be done. Right. Let's see.
Tell which one of these ads is AI.
I gotta hold on. Gonna skip the ads. All right. All right, now. Back to here. Green. Sure that. Okay, here we go. This is about product pricing. Interesting concepts about how you want to price your products.
Powerful psychological manipulation technique that we're exposed to on a daily basis. From simply picking up a gallon of milk for $1.99 to pre-ordering an iPhone for $9.99. We try to make buying decisions based on value, use, and longevity. But despite our best efforts, these pricing games subconsciously affect all of our buying decisions. Considering this, how exactly are products priced? Starting off, we have the most blatant pricing technique, charm pricing. Charm pricing is when the price ends in 99 or 95. Charm pricing is less about the ending number and more about reducing the leading number by 1. This is especially effective for prices that are just under a new place value like $10, $100, or $1,000. Our brains use the first number as an anchor and use this to perceive the cost of a certain product. When we see the price $1.99, the anchor value is 1 rather than 2, despite the actual cost being nearly $2. By reducing the perceived cost, companies are able to make their products seem like a greater value, thus increasing the likelihood of a conversion. Next up, we have exclusive pricing. Logically, we want the best value for the cheapest price, but in practice, we often prefer getting an exclusive product for a higher price. The best example of this is Apple. They don't offer the best specs or the latest technology. In fact, they often lag behind the market, whether it's OLED implementation or DDR4 RAM. But this doesn't stop Apple from selling millions of iPhones and MacBooks. The thing is, Apple isn't selling phones or laptops, they're selling a lifestyle and a social image. People are well aware of how expensive Apple products are, and owning an Apple product will display that you are financially stable and even wealthy. And this perceived image is what sells Apple products as well as all luxury brands. Our Rolls Royces really 4 times as luxurious as Mercedes S-classes. Our organic foods really twice as healthy as normal food. And as for designer brands, this really needs no explanation. Overall, with premium pricing, companies try to get consumers to buy their products based on exclusivity rather than value. Moving on, let's take a look at a few visual tactics. Writing prices in a small font is a popular technique used by many companies. Our brains perceive cost of a product not just by its numerical value, but also its physical size. Conversely, discounted products often have large physical price tags, as this is perceived as a larger discount. Speaking of larger prices, you may have noticed that large prices generally don't have commas. This is designed to influence the way we group the numbers in a price. If there was a comma, we are more likely to read this number as 2,399. But without a comma, we are swayed to read it as 2,399. By associating smaller numbers with larger prices, companies make their products appear cheaper than they really are. Similar to this, Companies also associate words that mean small with high-priced products. For instance, if you were trying to sell a $1,500 phone, instead of advertising it as high performance and high capacity, which are characteristics consumers would already expect, it is much more effective to say thin, versatile, and low power consumption. Another pricing technique used is breaking up the total price of a product into smaller quantities. This is especially popular with monthly plans, whether subscriptions or installment payments. For example, a gym that charges $9 a month may advertise their subscription cost as just $3 a day. This doesn't sound nearly as bad and makes it seem like the per visit cost is only $3. But the thing is, it is unlikely that you go every single day. The average person would be lucky if they went just 10 times a month. So the per visit cost is actually 3 times more at $9. Similarly, most gyms don't even offer an yearly subscription because you are less likely to renew given a higher upfront cost. Following up, for large prices, it is very effective to offer specific pricing rather than round numbers. For example, it's better to price a car at $29,654.37 rather than just simply $28,999.99. Though you're offering a higher MSRP, the higher price is more likely to lead to a sale. This is because people associate specific numbers with honesty. They think, since you went through the trouble to come up with such a specific price, you're not trying to rip them off, and so they're less likely to negotiate. The round $28,999.99 is perceived as having a much larger markup, despite actually being cheaper. However, in cases where a purchase is emotional, it can actually be helpful to choose round numbers. This is often the case in jewelry. In such cases, the buyer has already decided to buy the product, whether a wedding ring or a wedding dress. Here, people's budgets are much more flexible and they choose to buy a product based on how much they like the product rather than the price. As a result, you want the price to seem higher, as this is one of the few cases that people are actually proud to pay more, as people are proud of these purchases. As you can see, psychology of pricing is a very complex subject, as the rules and strategies vastly differ based on the price, emotions, and the product itself. Sometimes you want round numbers, sometimes you want specific numbers, and other times you want charming numbers. Similarly, sometimes you're selling value, while other times you're selling exclusivity or emotions. But these are some of the most commonly used pricing strategies across all price ranges, and all companies use a combination of them. So next time you're shopping, take a closer look at the price, because I assure you, there's more going on than what meets the eye. If you guys thought this video gave a good overview of the psychology of pricing, then make sure to drop a like.
Okay. So interesting concepts about pricing, especially he calls it charming pricing, the $1.99 part of that. So that's a interesting concept. So finally, the last one I'm going to look at here is the marketing plan. We talked about the strategic plan. Here's a quick video on a company should be doing their marketing plan. I teach a class on marketing, and one of the final things that we do in the class is to pick a company, sometimes out of Kickstarter, a new company, and come up with what we think should be their marketing plan. So let's get this going here. Okay. Now back to my screen. We'll finish up today with marketing plan and how that's done. This is an interesting example of making up a marketing plan. Just a little short video.
Coffee Collective does brisk business in the heart of this college town. But the shop's success can't be measured in just dollars and cents. The 4 Ps, product, price, place, and promotion, are important functions of any business, but they are just one part of a company's marketing plan, not the only part. The 4 Ps represent the implementation phase, but you can't offer a quality product at a fair market price in the right place without first going through the necessary steps of planning. Martha had always dreamed of opening up an independent coffee house, but she knew there was a lot of competition. She used a SWOT analysis to assess her own internal business plan and the external environment. The big corporate franchise, $5, churns out cup after cup of consistent coffee, but doesn't offer much to locals beyond a place to sit and some Wi-Fi. And the local convenience store on the opposite corner has no amenities at all. Martha saw an opportunity. She dreamed of offering an alternative spot where college students could study, socialize, and buy a quality cup of coffee made with fair trade beans from local artisanal roasters, services she knew would appeal to the neighborhood demographic. Sure, she'd probably have to charge a little more, but she could offer a community environment that her competition can't match. With the planning phase complete, Martha is able to put her customized brew of the 4 Ps into action. By targeting the right market segment and positioning the Coffee Collective as the place for students to come, connect, and drink coffee, of course. When Martha evaluates her marketing efforts, the third phase of the marketing plan, she can trace back the Coffee Collective's success to her unique brand of products and services and strong customer relationships that result in repeat business and loyal customers. After all, you don't become successful by selling just one cup of coffee, but by having a marketing plan that helps you resell that coffee experience over and over again.
All right. So that's a little brief thing on marketing plan. So just as a summary again today, we talked about marketing, we talked about strategic planning, how people make buying decisions, their consumer behavior, business and consumers. We talked just a little bit about targeting and the position of the market. We mentioned about creating the offering and developing that. We mentioned about some market channels and distribution. We talked about creating the value. And I just briefly mentioned gathering information and research, what's called market intelligence. There was something I didn't go into a lot of details called integrated marketing communications. All that's part of we talked about the promotional mix, and we talked about messaging strategies. One thing I didn't bring up too much about is the promotional budget. We got to put some money aside to promote the products. And of course, we mentioned public relations and social media and professional selling, which is the B2B marketplace. And we also have to look at the customer satisfaction, and hopefully that brings loyalty to our products. And with that brief video 2, we talked about pricing. And then finally, we finished up with the marketing plan. So those are your basics of marketing. Talk about a quick little summary. That's about it. And again, I want to thank you all for watching when you do. Appreciate it. And thanks again. And